Holy.
Real clear. That one's closed there. Yeah. Okay. Oh, clear coming out. What is clear coming out?
What? The fuck is happening?
Okay, I'm recording this later than what you're about to see. So, what I mean by that is I just recorded an explanation of what happened to me, but more stuff just happened. So, I'm putting this video first. Basically, I got swatted, and now I realize I wasn't specifically targeted out of nowhere. It was targeted through Twitch. And why I assume that is because I was streaming a podcast with my friend Chill. He lives in a different state. We had a podcast for a few hours. I got these random text messages and I got swatted. And now, afterwards, after making this video, Chill just texted me saying that he got the same exact messages, except the same number that texted him, like we're talking about the same number, said, knock knock, guess who about to be there? That's fucked up. Just spamming it. So basically, we got doxxed. And this is serious. I just informed Chill what to do to contact the local authorities. Docs Master 101. As I'm recording this, there's someone named Docs Master 101 in Chill Stream right now that's saying, "You be glad you called. I almost sent them to you. Come to get me, Germany, bruh." What? Okay, it is 5:28 a.m. when I'm recording this right now. A lot has just happened, so I'm trying to gather my thoughts and just gonna compile this into a video to just explain what happened and to shed some light for my sake and just to spread awareness. Okay, so basically, I was streaming all day today. I think it was around 9 to 10 hours, but at starting at like 3:56 a.m., I have it on record because I took screenshots and everything. I got a call from a random number from Texas. Typically, I don't answer like phone calls or anything. I usually disregard it because there's like a lot of spam calls, etc. But I started getting so many different calls and I didn't answer any of them. So I got calls from 3:56 to 4:07, and I'm looking down because I have like the pictures and my phone in front of me. I also got voicemails, but the voicemails just said press 1, but I didn't do that. I just disregarded it because I was still streaming. And then by 4:08 a.m., while I was still streaming, I was getting these I was getting spammed like a bunch of text messages of my address. We're talking about my home address from this random number. It was like spamming so many times. It like blew up and I screenshotted it. And then at 4 I blocked the number, and then at 4:12 a.m. the same thing happened with a second number, and again I chose to disregard it. I don't know what I was thinking in the moment. I just obviously that's like a sign. Like that's scary that someone's texting the address and stuff. Like I feel like I thought it was some sort of a prank and wasn't really thinking straight, especially because I've been streaming all day and I was just having a podcast with my friend. I was kind of going on with the podcast while I was just going on with the podcast, and I tried not to think too much about it because it could potentially be a prank. Whatever. I made a stupid mistake. And then about maybe 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later or so during the podcast, I just hear sirens or something like a speakerphone. And clearly that's a good indicator that it's the police, right? And then I hear loud banging on my door. And I guess at that point it clicked to me that something is going down. Like, I don't know specifically if I was thinking that it had to do with the numbers, but it kind of came together. As soon as I went to the door, I saw a flashing light just shining through my windows, the front windows, and the police like knocking super loud and they're yelling stuff, right? And my sister comes out with my dog, like our dog, And I was just like, at that point, I was freaking out. I already started freaking out a bit. I told them that I was at the door, and they said like something like, open the door and put your hands like behind you or something. And then I was just like, okay, I'm gonna open the door. And as soon as I open the door, I just see like bright lights, and I see a bunch of police officers in front of me pointing their guns, their lights, everything. I see a line of cop cars. This is what you would see in like movies, shows, right? This is something I've seen online, like through previous videos of like people, like streamers getting swatted and everything. At that point, it clicked to me that I literally, I've become a target of like a prank call or something, which alerted the authorities that there's like a false report, and bam, I got swatted. Bottom line. At that point, I feel like my whole body, or most of my legs, my arms, got numb. Like I was in shock that this was happening, but at the same time, I feel like I was very calm and collected because I've seen this happen before, and I knew that if I complied with the authorities and I just did everything that they said, then I'd be okay. Like the police wouldn't do anything like intended to harm me. There was just like a bunch of officers, and they told me to step out, and I just walked with them barefoot across the street, like to the very front of the pavement, and answered their questions. They were asking me like who's inside, blah blah blah. I told them my family, gave them specific info, like date of birth and everything, and they were questioning me. They were just like, basically, they got a report saying that like my sister or something was threatening to stab whoever in the bathroom. It was very serious what they told me. The police informed me that they got that like a very serious call, which is why everyone came in really hot in pursuit, right? And they reassured me that I handled things well, and they've clearly, most of them have never seen this before. What I mean by that is like the younger officers have seen this. They're aware of like swatting happening to streamers or something online. So they were asking me questions relative to that. But then they were just trying to say, like, they were asking me, oh, did you leak your information, address? Is there someone who's targeting you? Basically asking if I have like enemies or something. And I was just like, telling them no. Like I was literally just having a podcast, and they're asking about streaming. Told them that I just stream like for fun, just chatting, gaming, and they asked me like why would they get a report about that? Like I was just so dumbfounded and just shocked. Like my body was still partially numb. Like I was definitely very concerned. I feel like tears were about to come out, but it was just stuck there. I was just like frozen. I was just like, I can't believe that what I've seen like on Twitter and everything about people getting swatted has happened to me. Like I was in the reality of it, the midst of it. They gave me like the report and everything. They told me what I should do in the future if this were to happen. They have like my info and this incident in the system, but I'm basically making this video to provide insight or to talk about my experience. Because at the end, one of the officers asked, like, do I have any questions? And he was basically like telling me what I could do next time. Like, I just want to mention that I made a huge critical mistake by not thinking twice about what just happened, like about the text messages. If someone's gonna text you about like your address and spam it multiple times, like you shouldn't just disregard that. I feel so dumb about that, honestly do. like my story's probably all over the place. Cause like not only did they bring me out, they brought my entire family out, like everyone in my family, like most of them were sleeping, unaware of what the hell was happening. They got dragged into this because of me, I'm pretty sure, because it was my number. It was probably connected to me somehow, just in general, and I feel really bad. But I'm still in shock. Like my dad was asleep. Like I had to explain to them afterwards. It's just like, why do people do these type of things, right? You just don't know what their intentions are. I don't have like enemies that I'm aware of. But what I want to tell to whoever sees this, especially if you're a streamer and you're like a friend, an acquaintance or something, be careful. If this ever happens, if someone spams your number and whatever, like personal information, contact the authorities and let them know like everything's okay, like nothing's going on, but you're getting like suspicious like numbers and everything. Because what they told me was that it sounded serious, like someone is in complete distress. And I think they wrote down the number that called them, and I don't know whose number it was. Like it was so unfamiliar to me. Like at this point, I'm just still processing. It was in my best interest to react right away to like make this video because I can't do anything else to really spread awareness and to tell people to be careful. Like go with your intuition if something's weird or going off, don't disregard it like I did. Yeah, contact the police because this is serious. Like I've been streaming for over a year now consistently and I've never had this happen to me. Never expected it, so I realized it could happen to anyone. I've asked them, I asked the police, like, they asked me if I had questions, and I said, has this ever happened in this area before? And he said no. Like, the only thing that's similar was like a complete different incident where someone was like, just, I don't know, like prank calling something. But this, getting swatted, like, was all bad. It was caught on camera where they entered my household and everywhere to clear the premise, the backyard. They knocked the camera over. I told them I was still streaming, and that was basically it. Just be safe, and thank you to everyone that has reached out to me so far. Like, this is a serious matter. I was advised to end my stream immediately. Whenever, like, if this were to happen again, I would call them and I would just end my stream or something. Because in the police's mind, people do this to try to get a reaction. They want to see the police storm in and all that. Like we don't know why people do these things for. Why do they mess with streamers, target people, call in fake reports? But that's just the reality of it. Technology use and just people today. So definitely eye-opening and all right, take care guys.